I wanted to film this video at the Red Square, but there's something going on and they're not allowing people in. There are lots of, I don't know if you see it, there are lots of police or military buses and people that are entering. But anyways, let's start the video. I traveled to Moscow a couple days ago for personal purposes because my girlfriend is Russian and we wanted to see her family. And we also wanted to, we were invited for a wedding. And especially, like, some people might think that those are not, not really approved reasons for them traveling to Moscow. But I do think that at these times, it's very important that people treasure family and friends, because I've seen several friendships be destroyed by what's going on. And yeah, now we're here. I just wanted to basically share my experience and what I, as a foreigner, am currently experiencing in Russia now. We're going back in a couple of days. So, so far the most interesting thing that I've noticed is that really I don't really notice that there's anything really going on. Like, unless I'm looking at some news or at some specific billboards almost that are saying like "Присоединяйтесь к своим," you don't really notice that the, geopolitical situation has changed in the last couple of years. So another thing that I've noticed is that Moscow in general is developing very quickly. Like I just said, here's the Park Zaryadye, which is close to the Red Square. And they're building so many new roads. It's very interesting to see. Also lots of new high-rise buildings for living complexes, and also working a lot on the infrastructure. Like, for example, compared to the previous times that I was here, I didn't really see too much people biking around, but now it's getting more and more. Like, I'm starting to see people, in the center, it's mainly people that are doing deliveries, but outside of the city, you also see sometimes people just either for sports, like on mountain bikes or on racing bikes, or sometimes even just going to the supermarket with some bags to getting some stuff. So that's an interesting one, especially as a Dutch guy. I like seeing cities develop with less cars and with more alternatives, like for biking or public transport. They're also building lots of new metro stations. So in general, Moscow is developing a lot. Also, some people might ask, like, if it was difficult for a foreigner to travel currently to Russia, and I quickly wanted to share my experience. We traveled from Amsterdam. Usually it was 3.5-hour flight, but because there are no current direct flight from Amsterdam, it was more difficult. We flew through Istanbul, and then we basically got to Moscow. It took us around 11 hours. Here's Park Zaryadye. This is new in Moscow, close to the Red Square. It's interesting. Anyways, it was also quite easy to get a visa, because usually there would be a lot of people waiting in line, but this time it was basically only me, so I got the visa relatively quickly. Okay, let's continue. One other thing that I noticed is that it's interesting to make videos here, because we were kind of watching, really used to English language on the street, especially now. And so yeah, another thing that I noticed is that while walking, like taking a walk through the park here, is that people do seem to be generally in quite a good mood. It's probably because of the summer and maybe because kids have holidays now, but I cannot really say that I was sort of like expecting it. Maybe that people were a little bit more less happy or so. Also, if I compare it to the previous times I've been to Russia, last time was in 2020, people weren't really smiling that much, and now they seem to be smiling a bit more. Like, I've seen some metro guards, some police officers on the street, or some women, some cashiers. Usually, they would now be smiling a bit more. So, don't know why it's that. Probably because of the nice summer weather. Also, some people have been asking me, like before I went on my trip, if I could basically check what the general reaction was of Russian people currently to foreigners, because they might be thinking of traveling here. And I gotta admit that I noticed zero negativity towards me because I'm a Westerner. And again, that might be because my Russian is just not bad, so I can speak to everyone in Russia in Russian. So yeah, I don't think in general that it would really be a problem. Of course, check your behavior, and the more Russian you can learn, the better. So I kind of have mixed feelings a little bit about this trip, because on the one hand, I like Moscow as a city. It's a beautiful city. I've been here before. My girlfriend is from here, so it's just nice to see it develop. I also think Russia is a country with a lot of potential. And yeah, on the other hand, of course, like, it's just a shame to see how do you put it, the international relationships between Russia and other countries causing, damage. And yeah, it's just such a shame. I would really want to see more good relationships between Russia and the West. And I think it would just be nice if people in general would be able to, well, travel more, because if, for example, more Western people would have seen Russia, if more Russian people would have traveled abroad, I think the world in general would be a better place. So that's kind of like the message that I would like to share at the end of this video. Спасибо вам большое за просмотр. Желаю вам хорошего дня.